am ready. I am here. Hi, everybody. If you're here, happy Wednesday. Go ahead and say hi in the comments so that I do know you're here.
Hi, the comment.
um, Let me see what I got today. So I have a red, and this is courtesy of, it was a gift from my cousin. I have a Cabernet, and what's the alcohol? Oh, it's 14.5. So, hi, Kennedy. I'm gonna try my best not to drink too much because it's a high alcohol content, and you don't really need that much. I don't really need that much. I still got to get up in the morning and go to work. So, I need to be a responsible adult. But I'm definitely gonna get this popped open and get this started. I am struggling. Happy New Year too. I don't know why I forgot to say that, but we are in 2024. Hopefully everyone is having a good start of the year. I mean, we did start off with a bang with that earthquake, if anybody else felt it in California. Well, Southern California. First live, yes, first live of the new year. And I almost didn't do it because, hi, Kanitha. I almost didn't do it. Why is it not popping up on here? I almost didn't do it because, for whatever reason, I couldn't think of nothing. So it was one of those where I was just like, well, all right. Ugh, the sound of that first pour. I didn't even pour it right, so oh well. Go ahead and swirl. Even though I swirled it a little wild. Hi, Andrea. Oh, that's pretty good. Yes, you're still sis today. And I didn't put my socks on. Oh my gosh. I got the cutest wine socks for Christmas from my sis that I was going to put on tonight, but I'm still dressed from the day. Yes, red wine. Well, you know, I love red wine. Red wine is my absolute favorite, even with the, but like, so red wine and bubbles, those are my favorites. So that's going to always be my go-to. But, you know, let's start the year smooth, mellow. I think that's why I like red, because it's, you know, it's calm, it's chill. But before I get into this today, I just want to know, has anyone seen that video? All you gotta do is go on. I'm just gonna go and get it. So a pastor in Atlanta is being criticized, and he's gone viral because he brought the club to church. And when I say he had it lit in there, I'm just gonna, yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's see.
That's how we going out of here tonight. Look at your neighbor and say, walk it out. They trying to act like they don't know what you're referring to. Look at them and tell them, walk it out. Hey, now walk it out. 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 DJ on. Now walk it out. We ain't now walk it out. Now walk it out. Now walk it out. Here we go. Now walk it out. 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 Now where's that walk it out? South side walk it out. East side.
Now, I understand. Hi, lady. I understand that he's, you know, trying to bring people into the church. However, I don't think that he did that the right way. And he's like defending it by saying, well, think of how many lives that I saved, you know, doing this. So you know, there's his reasoning for it. However, I would have been like, what? Yeah, man, they doing too much, because I was just like, sir, that is not okay. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? I only grew up in the church, and there's no way that, you know, that would have been the music that's playing. Oh, I should have changed out of these jeans. Whew. Yeah, I don't agree with that method either. Like, it was a little too much, and he still exactly. If you're gonna show reverence, show your reverence. Like, I don't think that you know, there are ways, you know, to do it. Like, I know plenty of, you know, gospel songs that, you know, can reach to, you know, the audience that you're trying to reach. So yeah, I just think he went about it wrong, and that goes to show, you know, what he really be doing in his alone time. Y'all don't know how to have fun. I mean, yeah, I do. I know how to have fun. I don't know. I don't think that was the way to go. So, but hey, oh my gosh, y'all, this wine is good. I gotta make sure I bring some of this. I could swear I put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. I guess I didn't. But no, I just don't think that was the way to go. But it is what it is. Walking. Yeah, they was in there. They was lit. It was people like, are we in church or are we at the club? And some other girl posted her point of view from it. And she said, I guess I should have bought a section because I wasn't expecting this. I'm just like, wow. But, you know, he's standing on the fact that he did, you know, bring some lives to, you know, God and whatnot. And, you know, that's fine. But, yeah. Yeah. So that was where, yeah, that was my thing. He stand on business. I guess so. He said, I'm going to do what I do. That's for sure. He said, that's the way I'm going about it. And if you don't like it, you can leave. And it was a lot of people in there. I don't know how many people they actually had for New Year's, but the crowd was packed. So I wonder if this is what he does on regular Sundays as well. Different strokes. I mean, I'm sure he brought in, you know, the young kids. Yeah, and that was, you know, that was his, you know, response to it. How many people are going to return? How many people are going to come to God? And, you know, I don't know. To each is their own. I guess that's his way of trying to do it. I mean, Insecure had an episode where, for those who watch Insecure, where Lawrence was talking about going back to church, and he went to church and he wasn't agreeing with the Lord can get turned. That's funny. He went to a church and the pastor was, you know, trying to reach people and speak their language, things like that. And after church, he was talking to another girl. No, you can't, but I don't know. That's why I think you should go to the youth, and there are ways to do it. Like, I found a gospel song that I actually like, and I was like, hey, this is kind of lit though. So, I don't know. There's ways, but that one was not one. Hi, Megs. But, you know, it is what it is. So, that's your new church. You going to Atlanta? You'll be in Atlanta turned up with them. So, I'm going to get right into it because I don't know. I just be having stuff on my brain that really be like, okay, you know, this and this and that. And it's not until something really talks to me. Yeah, it was in Atlanta. They was lit in Atlanta. Where things will talk to me, because a typical church don't be making me want to engage. A lot of churches don't know how to bring in the youth. And that's the part where, yeah, Atlanta is a different level. And I've been meeting a lot of people from Atlanta and Texas lately, and I am just like, y'all are a different kind of breed, like a whole different kind of breed. So, yeah, nothing really surprises me there. It's just like, wow, that is something else. Yeah. So, yeah, they do things a lot of bit different. Not a little bit different, a lot of bit different. But hey, to each is their own. If they happy, then That's on them. And I'm sure that they're going to have more people come back and they're going to have to add more church services. So that's going to be that. Oh, man. But yeah, like I said, I almost did not go live today. And a part of their hands, hips move differently out there. Yeah. Their hands and hips do move a little differently. And yeah. Yeah, we just going to leave it at that. So that, yeah. The men's, no, for real. No, for real. Man. Yeah. We gonna leave it at that. But I didn't. And then I was making excuses on why I can't, and all day I was just like, but that's not right. And a part of what I was doing was self-sabotaging. And that was something that was clearly pointed out to me last year that I do frequently. And I mean, I feel like it's pretty self explanatory, but if you don't know what it is, it's basically where you're intentionally doing actions or inactions to, set yourself up for failure. It can be, with people and their success, with their relationships, their work, even with, trying to grow certain things, like with me and even growing my wine, there are certain things that I still do that are kind of self-sabotaging. And the root of it comes from a lot of different things where you are consciously or unconsciously doing acts that can, keep you from getting to where your goal is. So, say for instance, you're on a diet and you're not supposed to be eating certain things, but then you go hang out with this person that is somebody that's into food, things like that, and now you out there eating big bowls of Chipotle or going to In-N-Out or going to Wingstop, and you sitting here doing all that when you are not supposed to be eating that stuff because you are trying to get down so you could be fit and sexy for the summer or whatever thing you got coming up, like my birthday, and I still ain't all the way committed to working out, and I only got a couple months, so I really need to get on that self-sabotaging. But other reasons that people sabotage as well is because they had difficult childhoods. If you grew up in a dysfunctional family, it can contribute to that. Not having a secure attachment style, things like that, it can. Man, I love me some Chipotle. No, seriously. Okay, if you want to be my accountability partner, I will gladly take that. And I think you got an Apple Watch, so that would be great, because then it'll show that I can't lie and say, yeah, I did it and I didn't. So we're gonna talk about that. But definitely, I self-sabotage in a whole lot of different ways, like even with work. My goodness, like I know there are certain things, and I got on it this year, a lot more, where now I'm posting about my business more. I'm actually reaching out to people to do more, because there's no reason that I, shouldn't be. Even with wine, it was like I said, I almost didn't do it today, and then it was just like, why not? You have all of these things in your brain that you put down on, not regular paper, but on notes, where it's just like, you want to do this, you want to do that. All it takes is for me to sit down. Yes, you did hear Chipotle. Sit down and bring it to life, and that's just what it is. I said I wanted to be more consistent with posting this year. And do you know how easy it is to just go and find a sound, think of something creative, and put it on there? It took me, I want to say, maybe 30 seconds last night to do a reel. And I was just like, okay, I did it. Now all I got to do is continue to do that, just be creative. It's like, if I'm sitting here wasting time on YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, why am I not using the time that I'm wasting to look for ways to help better what I'm trying to do, or look for ways to, grow my business? It's just so many different things. So it's like, when I'm sitting here just being lazy and not doing certain things, I mean, no, I'm not saying don't take mental breaks, because everybody needs a mental break. It's just one of those things that you need to, keep yourself refreshed. However, if I'm spending more time mentally breaking, guess what? I'm self-sabotaging myself and can't grow like that. So I was really putting my foot down on myself and stepping on my own neck because that is something that I needed to do. Other ways people do it is they know they have a deadline coming up, and you intentionally take time to where it's like now you didn't reach your deadline. It's just like, oh, I knew I wasn't going to get it anyway. Um, I even have self sabotage people, in relationships, romantic and friendship wise, where it's just like I will psych myself up into thinking that a person is just too nice and they can't be cool with me because of me. And it has made me have, the insecurities of it. Like, I don't deserve it. And, because of therapy, that was one of the things where I realized it came from that. I'm not going to put all of it out there, but it was, it stemmed from childhood, and then from childhood into, you know, failed relationships that have, left lingering issues with me as well. So it kind of, forced certain things out of me, but it is what it is. I'm working on it. I have the tools, and that's where the journaling is supposed to be helpful. It's like when I have those unhealthy thoughts, that's when I'm supposed to write it down. When I'm having even the healthy thoughts, because you can't have good without the bad. And in order for you to get past the bad, you gotta, focus on that. What made me think that way? What was I doing when it triggered? So that's one of the best things that you can do in that. So, um, let's see. Now, there was a study on self sabotaging where 15 psychologists specializing in romantic relationships identified the main reasons for the prevalence of self sabotage in romantic relationships. Because I noticed that's where a lot more people do have that self sabotaging mindset. And these were the top reasons: insecure attachment styles, low self esteem, fear of getting hurt, fear of commitment, unhealthy relationship beliefs, coping problems when it comes to matters of the heart. We all know what low self-esteem is. So that one is just, but I feel like low self-esteem comes from not just the way you view yourself, but the way others view you as well. So if someone is constantly belittling you, it does, play a role. And then you start to believe that of yourself. So it's one of those where that's why I say I affirm myself every morning. And one of the biggest ways that I started doing it is I have Post-its in my medicine cabinet on the part where my toothpaste and stuff is. So that way when I get ready to I affirm myself every morning, because if you don't do it, if you can't believe it for yourself, then no one else is. And that's the biggest way to give yourself a confidence boost. And I feel like it's helped me tenfold doing that, because I like self-esteem, it's esteem of self. So if you don't, personally work on yourself and do those things, then someone can easily break you. And I was so fragile that the smallest thing would have me just like down. So that was my goal, was to build up my own self-esteem. Yes, it's great when other people say it too, but I didn't want that to be the defining factor in it. So when it comes to that, I do that for myself first, and then everything else is just, the cherry on top, which I do love the cherries when I go get my shakes. So for people that don't know what, examples of self-sabotaging behavior, procrastination. And so people who self-sabotage often procrastinate. Procrastination is a way you show others you're never ready and put off good outcome. It's because people fear disappointing others, failing, or succeeding. With me and my procrastination, it was because I was a of failing, not succeeding, but failing. I'm not I've never gotten mediocre grades, things like that. So to not have something go well was a failure to me. Like if something didn't go right, it was a failure to me. But not every failure is a bad thing. Sometimes you have to fail so it forces you to regroup. And that was one of the biggest things that I had to learn and accept that not every failure is bad. It's, you know, it can sometimes be a good thing. I do know that I did have a fear of disappointing people as well. And once I realized that you're gonna disappoint people sometime, just like people are gonna disappoint you. It's not the defining role on who you are as a person. I kind of let that part go and learn to, you know, deal with that different. Uh, the biggest thing that you can do with that is just, you know, do it. Now, procrastination, I know people that procrastinate and they work better under the pressure of knowing, oh shoot, I got to get this done by 11:59 and 10:30 they start working on it and then they hit their target by that 11:59. They need that stress of it. It's the rush of, oh shit, I got to get it done for them to do good. So, yeah. Perfectionism. Yes, that is one of the biggest things. That was one of the biggest setbacks with me with doing this. I mean, I've talked about it before, and it is something that I will always stand on. Is if it didn't feel like it was going to be perfect, I was just, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons that I, you know, almost didn't do tonight. It was just like, oh well, I can't think when I got things. I'm just psyching myself out of doing something and afraid of how it's going to turn out sometimes. Well, not afraid. I just don't want to disappoint myself. And if it's not up to that level of where I want it to be, then I almost don't want to do it. And then it's just like sometimes you got to make those mistakes. Even with my first vlog, it was just like, if y'all only could see how much content that I just have sitting in my phone because it was just like, oh, well, I don't like how it turned out. Or, oh, I messed up, so now I don't want to put it out. When it's just like, but now it's like, okay, I've talked to people who have told me other ways to repurpose it so that way I can still use the content. So, yeah, that's, you know, one of the biggest things is the perfectionism and wanting it to be completely perfect when it's always going to be something that's just not going to be right, which is why I get so stressed out when I throw parties, which is, yeah. I love my family. Thank you guys for putting up with me during that time. But now it's like I'm not even doing that. It's like, okay, what is the easiest way I can execute it now? It's not about me being all stressed out. It's like, this is what I have. This is what I see. I'm asking for help now. And that's just what it is. It's like, as long as I understand that I do need help, I cannot do everything by myself. Yes, I need to reach out to people that can support me and back me up, then I'm all right. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I've learned to let that part go. And then self-medication. To deal with the constant battle between wanting to be successful and the script that plays in the brain saying they can't be, many soothe themselves through drugs, alcohol, and self-injury. Like I said, I used to drink regularly. I mean, almost every day I was drinking wine because that's how I got through it. Now, the joys of growth, you know, because you're supposed to feel it. And I think that is the best way to get over things is to feel it. And sometimes you got to feel that hurt. You got to feel that pressure. And that is the best way. I feel like I've grown a lot after letting go a lot of that stuff. So I don't drink as much. I drink on Wednesdays, of course. And if I'm like in a social setting, sometime I'll have a glass of wine, champagne, because it's not a quick buzz when you're drinking Prosecco, champagne, things like that. So that's one of those things. But a lot of people that are, you know, self-sabotagers do deal with their issues with that. And it's not good. So some tips to stop self-sabotaging, because that was one of the things that I had to work on a lot, is what am I doing? Examine the root causes. You can't really fully get through that unless you're going to actually take the time to do it. If you don't want to go see a therapist, write stuff down. Writing does help a lot of people. And I think that's why there are so many people that do, a lot of different ways of reflection is writing, journaling, whatever you want to call it. But that does help. Stop procrastinating. Hold yourself accountable. With me, now I will wait on certain things because I've noticed that. So, like, I'm just going to use this as an example. I post on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. I post the wine from the previous Wednesday. I waited now because I noticed that if I do it too far in advance, it won't always post. So then it's like, dang, I still got to go in there and physically post it. But if I wait until the day before, I can have everything done. I pre-type everything out. Then I go and, set the reminder. So that way, no matter what I'm doing at 8 a.m. on that Wednesday, it's posting on all the platforms that I needed to post to. To ensure that I actually do it, I have a reminder set on my reminders on my phone that reminds me every week at 9:30 to get it done. So it's like no thought about it. It's no hesitation. It's just I know I got to get it done on top of any other alarms that I have so I can do certain things. So I'm utilizing the tools to stop the procrastination with certain things. Stop looking solely at the big picture. Make small incremental changes and act on them slowly. This way you might prevent your sabotaging mind from putting on the brakes. Take a more bite-sized actions that won't derail you. Like I said, with me, I've said I wanted to post more. So now it's looking up different ways that I'm reaching out to people that I'm like, oh, I like how they do this, or I like how they do that. I'm asking more questions. What did you use when you did that? So that way, I can try, those things as well. A lot of people that are content creators have content planners, and it's like, oh, okay, well, on this day I'm posting this, on this day I'm posting that. Oh, I do this on these days because it generates more traction to people. So it's like taking those tips from, talking to different people, it does kind of help as well. And stop perfectionistic thinking. That one is still a challenge for me because I don't know. I have a high bar for myself, and sometimes a lot of the time I still fail at that because nobody is perfect. No matter how much you try to be perfect, we're just not, and it doesn't make sense to continue to try to be. But I'm still, put those thoughts on myself because I'd rather have the bar be here. And, if I come short and I'm here, then it's like, okay, but I'm gonna still try, my hardest, but I'm not as hard on myself if it's not here, because at least if it's still here, it's better than just not doing it all. So, or doing it, half-ass. It's like I would rather my good ass try be, there versus me half-ass doing something. So that one is still a hard part for me, but I try to, do my best with that. But I know some of you, and I'm not going to call nobody up by name, have issues with, self-sabotaging, like procrastination. And how do you guys deal with any of these things? While I sip my wine. Because it's actually really good. No one's going to talk to me. Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm warm inside now. That wine is really good. I know I have before in the past for sure. I think everyone have self-talks. Oh my gosh, girl. Them self-talks be having you. Have you ever had a self-talk with yourself and kind of laughed while you were doing it because it was just like, yeah. You're just like, okay. Or sometimes I have those talks and I'm like, see, you doubted yourself for nothing. Like, and it feels like the stuff that I don't overthink goes the best. Well, you should work on not procrastinating. And it's so funny because my daughter is the one that gave me, the whole, she's like, hey, set a reminder instead of the alarm, because the reminder will go every week, but it'll remind you so that way you can hit the button saying that you did it. And that one is, yeah, I mean, you just laugh at yourself while you're having them talks, because you're like, okay, either you realize it might have been something that was kind of silly. Yeah, when I get out of my head, the best happens as well. And that's why I try my hardest to not overthink things when I am like a big overthinker, but that's something I'm actually working on as well, which is a part of my self-sabotaging, is overthinking. Like, my brain runs wild. Like, I'll be sitting here like, oh, this and this and this. And it's just like, for what? Just relax yourself and you got this. But when I don't overthink it, like the reel I posted yesterday, I really didn't think too much of it. I knew I wanted to do something. And yes, I do procrastinate all the time, but I have set reminders and have self-talks, and music always gets me pumped. Yeah, the music, oh my gosh. See, and this is my problem. When I put on music, then it turns into a whole different situation. Now I'm having party and I'm supposed to be working, but I do what I do. And no, but those self-talks and reminders are the best thing on the planet. It really does keep you to where you can be sane and keep yourself, going. Lately, I've become a big, like if I'm working, I've become a big podcast listener. Like, I love podcasts. I love hearing other people's opinions. And to be completely honest, that was a big part of my therapy, is, learning to accept other people's perspective of things. So listening to more podcasts opened up my, my mindset. Working party is the best kept. Man, when I used to be at work, when I say I'd be in there and they could tell when I'm really into it, and I work better because I'm sitting there, I would be like, yes, getting it done. But then if a song came on and I was really into it and I would actually belt out what I was singing out loud, I'd be like, so I'm gonna be the one to get us in trouble today because I'm over here thinking I'm Beyonce and I don't sing like Beyonce. In my head I do, but I really don't sound like Beyonce. But you can't tell me that, because when we do karaoke, I'm still singing. You're going to take whatever sound come out of my mouth. But no, definitely. And yeah, so don't judge me. But I love that you guys are, doing it as well. And I'm here for anybody that, wants an accountability partner or any other tips that I have, because I'm noticing I'm doing better and I'm liking it and I'm having fun. And I just got to keep going. Got to keep going. Thank you, Micah. I got to keep going. And I'm not going to lie, this keeps me encouraged as well. It keeps me encouraged as well, because there are people out there rooting for you, whether they, they say it or not. It's different ways that people show up for you. And that was one of the biggest eye openers. Thank you. No, that means a lot to me, because like I said, one of my biggest things last year was that I wanted to be a better friend. And it didn't matter how that, I mean, yes, and sometimes I couldn't be different places on different times, or sometimes I would get invited to 3 things on the same day, and it was just like, I physically can't, so I'm not going to go to anything because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And that would be one of the reasons that I wouldn't. Or sometimes mentally I was just so overwhelmed, or I had such a rough week that I just couldn't. Or I was sick. If anybody knows me, I got asthma and I got allergies and I get sick easy, and sometimes that would keep me down. Like, I had a sinus infection the other day that had me just all sorts of jacked up. And I finally, my head stopped hurting yesterday. So I had that for a couple days and it was pretty bad. But I'm better now and I'm drinking. But no, this was good. And I'm gonna be ready for next week, because I know that when I plan certain things out, it does work better and it does help me you know, physically in my spirit where it's just like, okay, cool. I got this. I still, the planner in me will never leave. I'm still going to plan. I'm going to, you know, think about things and have it set goals and whatnot, because it does make me feel better to know that I hit those targets. So that part won't leave, but I'm not going to beat myself up anymore over not doing it. So yeah, self-sabotaging is slowly leaving my, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to say body, my personality, because it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, but thank you guys for joining in, and let's get this 2024 going, man. Happy New Year. This is a new year. There are, we what, 3 days into the year? So 362 more days. Or is it a leap year this year? I don't ever know that. Let me see what we got going on in February. Oh, this is a leap year. It's 29 days this year. So 364 more days. No, my math still ain't right. Anyway, we got an extra day this year to get through. We got this. Remember, set goals. Don't get upset with yourself. We are not procrastinating this year, okay? However, we are still standing on the fact that when we do laundry, we're not putting it away the same day that we wash it. That's just what it is. I don't know. It's something about laundry that I just cannot put up. Sometime it'd be a week or two before it gets put up. But, you know, it is, at least it's clean. So that's all that matters. You know, laundry is, ugh, yeah. But thank you for joining. And I will be back next week. And I'm going to keep it going. And my goal is to go every week this week, or this year. Yeah, this week. What the hell am I talking about? To go every week this year and have a full year. So I will see you guys next week. New wine, new topic. Have a good night.